What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So, as you can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I'm going to be bringing y'all another very special rare build. So, this one, it's actually going to be called a Playmaking Paint Beast. Over 100 badges, and I'm telling you, when it comes down to the breakdown of these stats, this build is definitely going to be one of the best meta centers at 6'9" that you're going to see. But before we get any further, man, I just got to say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for bringing your support. But, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, go ahead and turn on post notifications, but also be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, y'all. I would appreciate it if we could go ahead and get 50 likes on this banger. That would help me out so much. But now, let's go ahead and get into the making of this Playmaking Paint Beast. So, if you were paying attention, the very first thing that we got to go ahead and do on this build is put it under the center position. Now, I am more than sure that we're going to be able to make this build out of the power forward, but when it comes down to the center, I'm telling you, centers are going to be much better when it comes down to this specific build, in my opinion. Now, let's go ahead and get into the height, the weight, and the wingspan, the good stuff. So, with this specific build, I decided to go with the lowest height possible, being 6'9". Reason being is because you want to be able to stay true to the playmaking side with this build. So you don't want to go 6'10", you actually want to stay at 6'9". Get in the smallest in order to get the most ball control, ball handle, speed with ball, and everything else that goes into it. When it comes down to the weight, I'm really comfortable with 217, but if you want to go with something else other than this, you definitely can do that. And then when it comes down to the wingspan, I'm actually going to go with 6'11". Now, this is a really solid all-around build when it comes down to the physicals right there. But now, let's just go ahead and get into the making now. So, with that close shot, we're going to go with an 87. When it comes down to the driving layup, I'm actually going to go ahead and bring this up as well. I'm going to go with an 89 driving layup. Then when it comes down to the driving dunk, I'm actually going to go ahead and max this out at an 80. And then as for the post control, I want to be able to do some post scoring moves with this build. So I'm going to go with an 85. And as you can see right here, we get 24 finishing badges. And honestly, when it comes down to the post scoring side of this build, you get a lot of Hall of Fame badges, which are really going to help you out. Now, in my opinion, if you feel like changing the post control for the standing dunk, you can do that. But again, just remember, this build is not meant for that kind of play style. So I decided to go with the 24 finishing and upgrading the post control. But now, let's go ahead and get into the shooting. As you can see, the midi and three-pointer have to stay at an 82. But when it comes down to that free throw, keep it at a 78 to take it into any game mode. And as you can see, we get 25 badges when it comes down to the shooting. This has honestly been such a really nice build to look at, but honestly, once you get to be able to play with this build maxed out, you're going to be able to do a lot of special things out of the center build. When it comes down to the shooting, you're pretty much going to be able to shoot just as well as any other build in Takeover. But now, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking side of things. So, pass accuracy I'm going to go with is going to be an 88. Ball handle must be a 79. Speed with ball, we're actually gonna go ahead and put this all the way to a 66. Now, if you want to, you can max it out at 68, but I want to be able to use the rest of these attributes in other areas of this build. So look, 24 playmaking badges for this kind of center build is not bad. And as you can see, even the badges that we unlock for the playmaking are really good in my opinion. Let's just go ahead and take it a step further. Now, we're going to go ahead and get right into the defense. So as you can see, when it comes down to that interior defense, I want to go ahead and put this up to an 83. When it comes down to the perimeter defense, I'm going to max this out at an 82. When it comes down to the steal, this is going to be a 72 block. Now, this is really all based on your preference. If you want to go about this a different way, you definitely can, but I'm doing everything here for badge purposes. So I'm going to go with an 82 block, offensive rebound of 78, and defensive rebound of an 82. Now, just remember, this is the way that I feel comfortable making it. if you want to go about it a different way, you definitely can, but I can say 28 defensive badges is really going to be a huge help on this build, especially if you know what you are doing, and then to include the playmaking with it as well, going to be a really sneaky build to use at the 3. Now let's go ahead and get into the physical. So as you can see, when it comes down to the speed, I'm going to go with a 75. When it comes down to the acceleration, this is going to be up to a 72. As for the strength, I'm going to leave it at a 58. And then when it comes down to the vertical, this is going to be a very important part of this build. So go ahead and leave it at a 70. That's going to be solid, especially for the defensive end. But when it comes down to the stamina, just make sure that you're maintaining at least a 90 stamina. I know a lot of people have said this year it really does matter. I'm not going based off of what other people say, but I am going based off of how the build is going to look all around. So if you feel like making any changes, now would be the time to do so. But I can say, when you add up all these badges together, remember, you're also going to be getting a +4 from your Rebirth or College Championship. And then you're going to be getting, so far we're in Season 2, so you get 2 more extra badges, so 6 in total, making it over 100 badges if that is the case for you. But look at these takeovers. We get the sharpshooting, playmaking, also going to be getting the rim protecting, and then last but not least, we are actually going to be able to get the post scoring. So this really comes down to your play style. For me, I'm going to go with post shot daggers, just to get a huge boost to the post hooks, the fades, and as well as spotted precision. Or you can also go with limitless range takeoff. That's what I'm going to do. And as y'all can see, we have made the first ever playmaking paint beast, over 100 badges, new meta build, gonna be able to do everything that you want out of a center build, but also has a lot of playmaking qualities in it. Let's just go ahead and take a quick look at what this build is going to be looking like though at 99, with boost considered, buying the +4, and then running with teammates that are going to be having floor general as well as defensive leader. And then remember, we chose sharpshooting takeover as well as post scoring, so we get a +10 to our shooting and finishing. So let's take a quick look. Essentially in takeover, you're going to be able to get a 99 close shot, driving layup, driving dunk, and then a post control. For the shooting, a 99 mid-range shot, 3-pointer, and the free throw will be in the high 90s. But let's just go ahead and say you picked the playmaking takeover. If you decided to make this build a different way, or even the rim protecting, essentially your defensive and the offensive side are going to get a huge boost. But the defense with rim protecting will have a 99 interior defense, perimeter defense, block, as well as a defensive rebound. But if you get the playmaking, all of these stats are essentially going to be in the 90s, except for the speed with ball. This will be in the high 80s, but do not worry. Being 6'9", remember, height is going to be a huge factor when it comes down to this. So just be sure that you remember we are much taller than any other build that you're going to be going up against, unless it is another center. But now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of these badges. So for me, I'm going to go with silver, posterizer, gold, slithery finisher, Hall of Fame back down punisher, silver limitless takeoff, and then for the very last 3 badges, I would go with silver unstrippable. And then for the very last one, this is all based on preference, but I would really go with Lob City finisher, or you could even go ahead and put on fast twitch. Now, let's go ahead and get into the shooting. So, when it comes down to the shooting on this build, you want to be sure that you're adding as many badges as possible that are going to help you out with your shooting percentage. So, for me, I really see badges like blinders, corner specialist, catch and shoot, deadeye, volume shooter, and even stop and pop ones that are going to be essential. But also, go ahead and throw in sniper, then hot zone hunter. Also, you cannot forget about clutch shooter, green machine, and for the very last badge, you can really put on any badge of your choosing. For me, I would even consider fade ace, putting it on Hall of Fame because of what this build comes with, especially with the takeovers. But you can always go about it however you feel comfortable with. Just remember that. But now, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking side of things. So, we're going to go ahead and work with 24 badges right here. The first one that I'm going with, going to be silver unpluckable, and then also handles for days. Quick first step, we got 15 more remaining right here. So for me, I would have to say that space creator, triple threat juke are going to be 2 more badges that I would like to add on. And then with these last couple, it really comes down to what you want to do. But I'm going to go with bronze, bullet passer, bailout, and then for the very last one, you can even go with glue hands on silver. Let's go ahead and just say that you want to change something up. You definitely can, even with downhill. But now, let's go ahead and get into the defensive side with 28 badges. So, the first one I'm going with is going to be Intimidator as well as Chase Down Artist. Now, when it comes down to Hustler, I know this is a really good badge to put on, but if you want to leave it off, you definitely can do that so you can gain more wealth in other areas with other badges. So, for me, I'm going to leave it on, go with Silver Pickpocket as well as Rebound Chaser. You cannot forget about Clamps as well as Rim Protector. And then for the very last one, this really comes down to your personal preference. I would say Tireless Defender is the one that I would pick. But as you can see, this is pretty much the final setup that I would be running. 24 finishing badges. Then when it comes down to the shooting, you actually get some really good things about this part here. And then we're going to be able to get 25 badges right there. Then for the playmaking, 24. And then finally, for the defensive side, we get 28. Again, man, I just got to say thank God for giving me this opportunity. Thank y'all for those of y'all who decided to show your support. I got more bangers dropping this week for y'all. A lot of builds with over 100 badges, and each of them have different names and positions. So, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, go ahead and turn on post notifications. But also, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Let's go ahead and get 50 likes on this banger. And man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.